Alright, welcome back everyone, Zaf here. Due to popular demand, here is your Power of Destruction video, a juicy guide showing you two of the easiest teams to use on a dark day, and the run itself when it comes to the skills I use, the methods, etc. I like choosing the methods that are good but also the easiest to execute, because not all of us are, sweaty tryhards, no offense. We like to have easy methods, so let me cover exactly what I ran, because you want to choose the teams that make sense for you, and I'll show you how they're composed. So as you can see right here, we're running Charlotte, Choi, and Ayla. So we have one DPS, we have one defense reduction unit, and also a buffer that's basically general use that does buff Jinwoo and also Charlotte. And the same thing for Team 2, we have Harper, who is a DPS and more of a buffer as well on the Jinwoo side. We also have Anna, who does provide us defense reduction just like Choi, and we have a general support unit like Mei Lin. So Ayla and Mei Lin, Anna and Choi, Charlotte, Harper, they're basically doing the same things. That's why these scores are so similar. Team 2 I only ran once, Team 1 I only ran about 3 times, so you can obviously get higher scores, but like I said, I don't want to get too sweaty. I just want to get a good score. That way we rank up and we get all these juicy awards right here. But let's go ahead and jump into our build right now. When it comes to Jinwoo, very important, you run the correct artifacts, blessings, etc. and the skills. These skills will make or break your run. When it comes to the skill choices you have, there's a lot of options here, but the one I found the most easy to execute would have to be this right here, that being Vertical Arts. There are other skills you can use though, like Sunder. This one works very well if you want to basically try art, so I do want to give a shout out to Sion. They lead a lot of these meta-defining builds, and I don't think they get enough credit for it, so I do want to give them a shout out. I'm not going to run Sunder though, it's way too hard. You have to use Plum, you have to time it picture perfect, so not the type of build I want to run. But when it comes to Vertical Arts, Crosshairs, it makes it very easy to use. You could also use a skill right here. I did try it out and it's basically the same results. This skill here, Liberation, you can use it twice, so before the dragon goes back up, you dash, use one skill, you dash, use the other, breaking both arms, a very effective method, but for me, I prefer Crosshairs, one of my favorite skills, especially Battlefield time. But for our second skill, obviously, we're running Magnifying Slashes, one of the highest damage dealing skills in this game, so for a dark day, you have to run it. It's a must, otherwise your damage is going to get nerfed. Even if you have it at heroic, you want to run it, otherwise you're not doing Jinwoo justice and your damage will suffer. Now when it comes to our blessing stones, you do have a lot of options here. Let's go to Jinwoo. You should run Pulverize because the dragon will always be in the break phase. You want to just keep on breaking. And because of this, you also want to run Reawakening because that 20% of legendary cooldown reduction is just so good for spamming your skills. It's a must. You can also interchangeably run either Weakness Detection or run Double-Edged Sword. They both work. It's a fairly similar result. I swapped between the two and I didn't see too many gains, but when it comes to Bloodlust, that's another must use. You want to get a defense reduction. It is a big help, but you can also use other blessing stones like Sharp Perception. It's a pretty decent one to use, and if you have legendary into it, it is one of the best blessing stones right now to equip, so make sure if you have the legendary, put it on, because when it comes to our stats, because we want constant skill usage, we have to boost up our intelligence because, as you know, intelligence provides this cooldown decrease. So if you look at our stats here, you can see cooldown reduction, we're at 7%, and with Reawakening getting another 20%, allowing us to spam our skills, which is a must on this run. Now when it comes to meta stats, you can also run Perception. So you do want to put some of these stats right here in Strength into Perception. It will help out because having more precision does give you more damage, but for this run, I just kept it simple. I don't want to optimize too much just because that might confuse people. So just Strength, Intelligence, that's what I ran. And for artifact sets, very simple. We're just running Curse and Expert, the two best sets in the game right now when it comes to attack for Jinwoo. And for our cores, let me show you just by jumping in here. Let's go Power Destruction. Let's go to our Hunters. Boom. You can see this is what I'm running. Charlotte shouldn't have any cores right now because I put them on Harper, but these are cores we use. And for Shadows, very standard. We use Big Rock, obviously, for that skill damage increase, basic skills. we use Serbi because they do provide us a 5% permanent damage gain insane. And when it comes to Biru, they should really move the icons so they're a bit higher up so we can see their face. But when it comes to Biru, they do also provide us the punishment buff, which is a 5% damage dealt increase to the target. So another one we want to use, especially when it comes to Jinwoo. And when it comes to Choi, you do have to have his weapon to get this right here, the defense decrease of 20%. So make sure to have his weapon, otherwise he's going to be useless for this run. Hashtag let Choi crit, but that should cover everything. Here's the artifact set. So Guardian, Sylph's Blessing, and Busting set for Choi. We're running DPS on Charlotte, so Obsidian and Curse. These are the best sets possible. And if we jump into our other team, same thing. When it comes to artifacts, we're running Greed, we're running Blessing. I'm running this set here because I just found it the easiest to use, and Sylph's Blessing as well. So just copy these if you want or adjust them, up to you. But these are the sets I preferred, obviously. And here are the cores I use for Charlotte, and these are the cores I use for Harper, which are the same ones I use for Charlotte. Let me just show you. So crit damage, we also had crit damage and crit rate, I believe, no damage increase. You just have to make sure your stats are balanced. I'll do another video on this later. And when it comes to Anna's cores, yeah, it doesn't matter too much. She's not really going to deal too much damage for you. So let's jump in. I do want to show you the battle result, that way you know exactly what we did. Very important you run the battle right, otherwise you're losing out on damage. So let's jump into it. Alright, so here's our run. I'm going to use the Harper team run just because they're all the same, and just to show you how easy it is to pull off, because I only ran this 2 times, I believe, to get the score I got for this one. So first off, what we do is we use Plum, very important. And for weapons, obviously, we use Plum and Moonshadow. Those are 2 best weapons to use for POD, basically for every single day, doesn't matter what the element is. It's pretty much the best loadout to use, and for any other game modes as well. So we start with Plum, very important to get that damage boost in. Just because when your battle starts, you can't do too much, so that is the best avenue to take. And what I do is, I spawn our shadows right away, and then I get our Vertical Arts ready right off the bat. So as you can see here, I'm jumping up in the air and boom, both arms are broken. You do want to basically position Jinwoo right on this arm right here. I would say when the hands are down, you want to be around this mark here, not on the screen but where the fingers are. That's the best way to position yourself to hit both of the arms. So as we continue here, what I'm doing is using Shadow Step ASAP. Once I do that, I use our Moonshadow skill, and I dash, 1 dash, and then you wait to use Magnifying Slashes. I'll do a video on this later because a lot of you are using that skill incorrect, so do look out for that. But Magnifying Slashes, and that's it. Start auto-attacking to build up your mana if you want, and also to build up your expert stacks. And then you want to use Plum in the beginning to build up these stacks right here. Right now we're at 3. We want to get it to 5 if you have it all the way to A5. So boom, I used 1, got it to 4, getting that damage bonus in. And then you want to position yourself right around here, like I said, towards these 2 digits, and boom, use Vertical Arts, and both arms broken. So you keep doing this over and over again. Use Shadow Step, Moonshadow, and repeat. As you can see here, same thing, dash, Magnifying Slashes, and I do have my Hunters on auto mode, so I'm not using their ultimates, but obviously you can do that, it's up to you. For our other team, I did manually use Charlotte's ultimate, which obviously means you have to use manual ults for every single hunter, but up to you if you want to do that. I don't really want to bother with the manual cast, but it does let you squeeze out just some more damage, so up to you. And I should note, for building up your Plum stacks, there are 2 instances where you should use the Plum skill. Either after you break the arms, you do have like a 2-second period, so you can use it and dash out and use Shadow Step, or you can use it right after Magnifying Slashes. You do have again like a 2-second period to use it, so up to you. In this case, our Vertical Arts don't do enough damage, so what I do is I use Plum to get the damage off, breaking the arms very easy. And again, everything else is rinse and repeat. Use Shadow Step, use Moonshadow, use Magnifying Slashes, dashing, but when our ultimate is up, you want to make sure to use it right after Magnifying Slashes. That way, you're still getting the Moonshadow passive. Can you see my mouse here? Right here, these 3 stacks. Super important. So you'll see here, I use my ultimate, and watch above. I'll pause it, give it a second here. As you can see where my mouse is, you have 3 stacks of Moonshadow off right now. That means we're getting the full damage stack in our ultimate. Very, very important. So let's keep going here. Use the ultimate, rinse and repeat. Use Vertical Arts. So I'm just going to let it play. There isn't really anything else I need to cover here. You're just doing the same thing on repeat, using Moonshadow, Magnifying Slashes, Vertical Arts, and then your shadows. Always use them whenever they come up, but that's all I really have to explain to you, so I'm just gonna let the video play. There is no secret in and outs after this point, it's just the same thing on repeat. The only other thing I should mention is, if you find you're having troubles making your arms towards the end, and you want to skip the animation, you can save your ultimate. It has come in clutch for me a few times, where, I don't have enough time to dash to the side, but my ultimate is up. I'll just save it, and I'll use it for their arms, that way I can break them both. It is very, very helpful, but that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna let the battle play out, that we can see how the run goes, but that's all for you today. Make sure to subscribe, drop a like, comment down below if you want more guides like this, and also, don't forget to support us. The link is down below. That way I can send you a bunch of juicy codes.